Hello everyone, this is the BeeBee 66 from FullSpeedRC, featuring an F3 flight controller with an OSD, the Teeny 1S 6A 4-in-1 ESC, full speed branded, 705, 15,000 kV motors, comes with 40mm props, I only have 3 left, these are rack-on heli props, comes with the 25mm 600 TV line camera, the CM2751, MCP X rear battery connection, the prop guard measures 0.79mm, bottom plate measures 1.03mm, struts are 4mm wide, and about 1.68 thick. It does appear to be 66 millimeters. It weighs 29.16 grams. It comes with one G&B 250 milliamp battery. It's high volt. 2 rubber bands for mounting your battery. A micro USB adapter so you can get access to that USB port. And a USB battery charger. There isn't a lot for me to add. You've seen the flight video. We went through the specs. I'm a little disappointed that I lost a prop that was in an outside flight. I was doing some testing in the wind, and that footage is not great, but you know, it's brushless. It's 29 grams. It can handle some wind, but like any of these things, this will handle it better than anything. It's got a more traditional duct on it because those things will act like a sail. Unfortunately, I lost one of the props out when I was flying it outside, and those winds were 15 plus miles an hour, I think, and I couldn't find it. You know, of course, when one of these flies off, there's no telling where it landed, especially in the leaves in my backyard. So unfortunately, because it only comes with one complete set, I couldn't do my review or my flight with this, really, because that was fairly early on, so I swapped to these props. And in all honesty, I don't think it skews the review, really. I don't think it flies better. I don't think it flies worse with the rack-on heli props. There might be some thrust differences that you can find measurements for online, but from a pilot feel perspective, I really didn't notice it much. Of course, I was flying it outside when I lost the prop, and I flew it primarily inside afterwards. There's really only one tip I can give you, as that's to use my little favorite low-profile Duralock down here on the bottom. You know, you just stick your battery to it, and then you can get your rubber band over it so you don't have to fuss with it much. So it makes it nice, quiet, and easy to have Duralock on there. You can get that from, I think it's finetape.com. I buy giant rolls of it, like that. That's like 10 meters. I think I got it for 12 bucks. Lasts me almost 6 months. But, you know, I think it flies well. Lewis at Full Speed, he's a pilot. That's one thing that we can rely on when it comes to full speed products, is it will be tuned. Lewis flies all these things. He posts lots of videos on Facebook. Some of them he'll just send me via Facebook Messenger, and he won't tell me what it is half the time. So I'm always asking, you know, little questions about, well, what's it weigh? Is it 1S? Is it 2S? Is it 3S? What is this? What am I looking at? And I do hope that one day Full Speed starts to get into products with a micro Swift or a micro CCD cam. I'd really like to see what they offer. Lewis does a lot of flying in parking garages, Yeah, but anyways, so it comes tuned. So if you're a relatively new pilot, or your tuning doesn't work out the way you'd like to, sometimes a product like this might come in handy because it is tuned out of the box. You do have to add a receiver, and I would suggest getting the smallest receiver you can. You know, every gram counts. The one I've got in there is a DSMX Pro, and I believe Lewis will be selling something very, very similar to what I've got in there on his website, but I think they're white and they're like half a gram. So if you're Spectrum or DSMX, or you can use that, you could probably pick up one of these and get a receiver that's going to be really tiny right from FullSpeedRC. Or you can go with an FR Sky. You know, an XM's pretty small. It's got a really long antenna on it though, so when it comes to adding your receiver, you'll have to do some hunting and pecking around to see what's going to work for you. Remember, keep it light. You don't need a long antenna. Oh, one thing I want to mention before I get too far towards the end here. This simple little thing was a really smart addition, in my opinion. I actually bought one that was Lantian branded a couple of months ago because I have built a number of vehicles like this, and this is one of the big struggles, is how do you get your USB plug in there? Even if you're just setting it up the first time, you've got to get USB in there. You got to check your motor direction to make sure your ESCs are spinning right. You got to set up your receiver, make sure it's working, you know, and you can do everything else from the OSD at that point, but you've got to check those things, and getting a normal USB cable in there is a huge struggle. So this is really a nice addition. I'm glad because now I have two of these. So I have one going with the flat side down and one with the flat side up, because you never know which way the flight controllers will be mounted when units come. So it's a simple thing, and it probably only cost them 50 cents, but I think that was a really smart addition. I would like to see a couple more props in the box too. If you're not a fan of the flight time being just around 2 minutes, of course, if you fly slower, or you can try different batteries. I also use the Beta FPV batteries like this. They didn't yield that much more flight time than the stock battery. The GMB battery performed very well. It's a high volt battery as well. And this one maybe gives us 5-7 more seconds, but really there's almost no difference. But you can get these off of Amazon. I bought a pack of 8 a while back, and I'll link that down below to the Amazon, and especially if you're in the US buying these things quick. These are one of the better Whoop batteries. Whether you're buying it for this or not, this, in my opinion, is one of the better ones. I don't know who Beta FPV is getting them from, but they are pretty good batteries. Also, if you want longer flight times with this, you can fly it with a battery like this. This is a GNB 450. It's a 1S battery, has the right plug on it, and it's one of the few batteries over 260 milliamp where you can find the standard MCPX connection. And I've been asked about what this connector is called, and we were talking about their JST connections, and most of them have a JST name, like JST-XT125, or they'll have different names for these connectors that include JST. Typically, when we think of JST, we're thinking of the longer red connections. This one, you'll hear it called MCPX, you'll hear it called PH 2.0, you hear it called a power whoop connector. It's probably got other names as well. Just know that this is the larger connector that looks this way. But this battery can also be picked up by Amazon. I bought a pack of 8 at a different time than I bought these, and they fly very well. And I bought that because I figured we're going to see indoor season, and this might come of use. I think I have to warn you, you're going to get a lot longer flight time. You're probably going to have more than double your, well, not more than double. You'll double your flight time probably just about with this. But when you add weight like this, the agility and the responsiveness changes. So you will have to retune when you're increasing the size to this battery. So you probably have to pump up your P on all axis on the vehicle in order to use this battery. And it's still not going to respond quite the same way because because of the thrust variable. When you try to make a correction, you've got more weight on the bottom of this thing dragging you away, so it makes it you have to respond more on the throttle. So you can get well over 3 minutes with this battery, and it does fly a bit differently. It just still flies pretty well. It's just you can feel the difference on the sticks. I don't know really how to verbalize that, but you can feel that you have to work harder on the throttle, especially when you're making quick adjustments and you're going around corners or flying like I do. Everybody flies differently. There's no rhyme or reason for what we do. It's just that we like to do it. But this battery is viable if you choose to. I would really like to see this battery in, say, a 350. I think it would be a lot smaller, and it would probably be the sweet spot between weight and flight time. Probably get us about 2 minutes and 40 seconds, which I think is pretty good and pretty standard. I'll have links down in the descriptions. This one came directly from Lewis Lee. You can find him on Facebook. There is a Leader 120 Facebook group. You can find him active there. He also posts fairly often in the micro brushless builders and other Facebook groups. And you know, that's one thing is you're probably going to visit the link, go to their site, and see that shipping is not free. And that's a big difference between buying directly from dealers, is they don't ship free very often. And in the case of Full Speed, they ship DHL, and generally they're going to ship within 24 hours if they have the product. Generally, they do have the product because they're the makers of the product. If they don't have the product, they'll be making another one very soon, and we'll be shipping it out. So you have to decide, do I wait and order this from another source and then wait a month to get it? Or do I make an order, pay a little bit more, pay for shipping possibly, and get it quicker? I know that GearBest has been railed on, and I don't know what to do about that. I have passed on all the feedback. I have told them that they need to do, if they want to compete, they have got to do better in getting people their product. Otherwise, people will just buy once, and then they're done. And if that first time doesn't go great, then they will be done. I would encourage you to look at manufacturers, whether it comes to this product or other products, if you're wanting to get it quickly. If you're wanting to save the dollars, then we have to be more patient, I think. Anyway, I've gone off topic. I apologize. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please leave those in the section down below. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.